In this video, I want to talk to you about taking better staff pictures for your website. Some of our clients love to show their staff or do bios of those that are working there, especially for all of our medical practices, because people really like to get to know those that would be working with them. If you're like a dentist or you're a spinal doctor, these professions that get to know people really well, they like to just get to know who they're going to associate with throughout their procedures. So having nice, high quality staff images is going to go such a long ways. Okay. We're talking just traditional head and shoulders shots. Okay. We're not talking, in their moment or, working with clients we're just standard traditional head and shoulder shots. Okay. So here are some tips to help you achieve those better shots. First, camera gear. Camera gear you can do with a traditional DSLR. About any newer model DSLR is going to give you a nice high quality image with what you're doing. When it comes to portraits, I particularly like off-camera flash. Off-camera flash is most affordably achieved with a speed light. You need a speed light, okay? This is, will communicate with your camera, and I keep it off camera, okay? Keep it off camera so that we can get an angle of light onto your subject, you or your staff, in a more flattering way, okay? But you can't just use a bare light because that creates harsh shadows, and harsh shadow is there's just a line between the shadow and the highlight on their face. Okay, we want soft shadows, which means there's a gradual, like almost a gray area from the darkest of the shadow to the brightest of the highlight. It's a gradual change there. Okay, so keep that in mind. But that means we need a lighting modifier, and the cheapest and the most common lighting modifier for new flash photographers is a white shoot-through umbrella. Let me grab that. Okay, this is a white shoot-through umbrella, and it works best when you buy a stand and a bracket for that. Okay, here's a stand that the speed light attaches here at the top, and then the umbrella is then slides through here and is clamped down in there. Okay, you then open up the umbrella and shoot through it. Okay, what does the umbrella do? The umbrella is going to soften the light, and furthermore, it's going to help wrap that light around your model. This is really important. This is very common. There's a ton of lighting modifiers that you can buy, but for a basic beginner setup, I highly recommend a basic white shoot-through umbrella, a bracket for your speedlight and umbrella to attach to, and then it will clamp onto a stand. Okay, there's kits you can buy for all of this. They're really cheap. Less than 50 bucks, you can be out the door for a basic stand like this. Okay. Once you have your lighting and your modifiers in place, you can now position your model in front of the camera. In front of the camera, your model probably should turn to the side just a little bit. Okay, this helps slim them up and it makes them feel a little more approachable in their pictures. Okay, so you turn their body at about a 45-degree angle from the camera and have their face turn straight towards you. Okay, you can play with this a little bit because some people will photograph a little bit better depending on the tilt of their head or the angle of their body. Okay, so be conscious of that. You want, don't be so static, be a little bit fluid depending on who you're photographing. Okay, once you have them in place, you're going to set your camera, your camera in front of them, your speed light and umbrella about 45 degrees off to the side. And typically, rule of thumb is you want the speed light or the light direction to probably follow like where they part their hair typically. Okay, so for example, if you're to set up your speed light, if I'm turned this way, my face is this way, I want the light to be over here because my body is more opened up to this side, so I want the light to come over here. If the light's over on this side, well, it's going to create like a shadow, or it's going to have like cross lighting come across me, and it's not going to look all that great typically. But the beauty of off-camera flash is you can adjust